Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, boy, do I have a movie for you this week. We are hitting pause on the retrospective review of John Carpenter's films, maybe indefinitely. I don't think y'all are down with everything that he's done, so I thought let's dive into some current film. And man, today's a doozy. Weapons 2025. This film was such a surprise. This movie was so enjoyable. I did a really good job of not reading anything about this movie. I think I saw the one really short trailer that had dropped months ago, but unfortunately, I did not do a very good job of getting to the theater and watching the movie. I've just been so goddamn busy that I've not been able to literally walk 3 blocks from my house and watch a film because I'm either working or exhausted. And I'm bummed because I really want to keep movie theaters open. But apparently, this movie just kind of came and went, but was well received, and it deserves all the praise that it is getting because Weapons is right up there with Hereditary, with The Shining, and I would even put it in the same league as, again, The Shining and The Exorcist. This movie is so original, it is so grounded in its first half, in real life, it really makes you feel like you are in this fictional town of Maywood. You identify with characters. You identify immediately with the very visceral problem that has occurred in this film, which involves children. And by the way, there's going to be spoilers here because I don't know. It's hard to tell. Some of these film reviews, I withhold spoilers. They do well. Others, it feels like I was probably supposed to give you guys more and didn't. So when I get into the spoilers, I'll say so. But if you haven't seen this film right now, I would recommend going and renting it, or you can find it streaming on HBO Max. That's where I saw it. Weapons involves basically a small town where 17 kids wake up in the middle of the night, 2:17 a.m., and all just run away into the night. It is really a creepy and terrifying prospect, especially if you are a parent. And this town is sort of left to deal with the aftermath of where the hell did our kids go? And obviously, amidst all of the worry and concern, and obviously the desire for answers, there's a bit of scapegoating going on. There is one teacher in particular, played by Julia Garner, who you guys might recognize from Netflix's Ozark, and it's her class where all but one of all but one of her students were the students that woke up in the middle of the night and just ran away. So she has kind of a red X on her chest, and yeah, the mystery unfolds from there. What is particularly brilliant about this movie is writer director Zach Krager, I think I'm saying that correctly, who dropped another really fun horror movie a few years ago called Barbarian that I really enjoyed. He's really upped the ante with this film because we get what has happened from the point of view of, I believe, 4 different characters. You have Archer or Justine, who is the teacher whose students disappeared. You have Archer, who is the father of one of the children. You have Marcus, who is the superintendent principal of the school. You have Paul, who is a local police officer who gets drawn in when he's trying to apprehend this drug addict. You have the drug addict himself, who I believe is James. Um, Excuse the sirens there if you hear them. And what's so interesting about how Krager allows this story to unfold, how he constructs it, is we get what happened from the point that it happened, and then thereafter from the point of these 4 characters. And so you're just getting different slices and different viewpoints through at least the first half of the film. And it's really cool because there was no way I was going to be able to figure out what the hell this movie was about. And I like that. I really, we live in an age where the art of cutting trailers is either lost or we're just not making very interesting films. I can watch a trailer today and I'm like, I've already figured out who it is, what it's about. I've just saved $20. Weapons is not that at all. Weapons is really complex, this beautifully interwoven set of subplots with these characters that tie into this larger plot of the mystery of where the hell did these kids go. You have intrigue, you have scapegoating, you have intense emotions, and you have just a lot of weird shit going on in this town. Weird stuff going on, particularly with one of the characters. I'll just say I really don't want to spoil this for you guys too much. But if you have followed up to this point, I'm now going to talk about what I think is some of the coolest shit in this movie. So if you haven't seen this movie, hit pause now, go watch it, and come back. Okay? All right. So turns out this is one of the coolest fucking witch movies I've ever seen. This is right up there with Hereditary. It is up there with The Witch from, I believe, 2016. Our buddy Robert Eggers did. Just such incredible, creative filmmaking going on, particularly in the horror genre. I don't know why horror is just so pound for pound better than almost any genre we're doing right now. It's something I'm going to do a separate video of why is horror so good now? Why horror in particular? I think it has something to do with the fact that in general, life is really good and we like a little scare. But Krager knocks it out of the park. You know, Barbarian was fun, but Weapons is just next level. And this being just a cool ass witch movie, I did not see it coming. One of the characters is accused of being a witch, and you're not quite sure. You don't think she is. There's a bit of misdirection going on, and then we actually do get introduced to the real witch. And it's interesting because I think I saw thumbnails on YouTube for videos about this movie, and it didn't occur to me that that's what I was looking at. Again, I wasn't watching the video, but the character of the main witch, who is a woman named Gladys Lilly, and someone's Aunt Gladys, played immaculately by Amy Madigan. Holy shit, guys. If Amy Madigan does not get an Oscar nomination for this role, then Hollywood does not know what acting is. She disappears into this character and is probably the most terrifying antagonist that I've seen in a movie in a really, really, really long time, because she feels so real. She feels like someone you would know. Again, the beauty of Krager grounding this film, like Friedkin did with like the first half of The Exorcist, what Kubrick did with the first half of The Shining, what Ari Aster did with most of Hereditary from 2018. This is exactly, it's beautifully done. It feels real. It feels tactile. And then once they start introducing the weirdness and the supernatural aspects, and it never goes over the top in terms of effects. The effects that are used are incredibly effective. It is so scary. Again, going back to the character of Aunt Gladys, she is just terrifying, man. And what makes it doubly terrifying is she is terrifying children. She's terrifying some adults, and she's obviously put the fear, intense fear into these adults in the community. But there's one child in particular that has to deal with her directly, and it just makes her that much more evil. You have these characters like, say, Freddy Krueger, that he's sort of this super theatrical horror villain. You're kind of rooting for him, but you're rooting for the kids. When it comes to Aunt Gladys, she's pure evil, and she's harming people. And there's no rooting for Gladys. Just no way. She is just a really well done, just truly traditionally evil witch. And again, if you're still hanging on here and haven't watched this, again, it's your second warning to go, because I'm about to spoil some shit. She is using, what do you know, those 17 kids that disappeared from Justine's class for her own ends. And one of the things people have been doing with this film is they're trying to find a deeper meaning. They're digging into what does this mean? What does that mean? There's a lot of symbolism and stuff. And I don't know, based on what I've read, Krager didn't necessarily have a lot of deep meaning. He was just writing a really cool, spooky, scary horror flick, and he knocked it out of the park. There is an interpretation, though, that after watching this movie dawned on me, like about a week later. And The character of Gladys is obviously this old witch. She's literally a crone. And we learn about halfway in that she's the one responsible for uh, capturing these kids. But it's like, okay, why? Well, she's dying, and she needs their life force to allow her to live longer. Okay, that tracks with a lot of succubus characters we've seen in films, whether they're vampires or witches or whatever they are. And I thought it was really interesting that this movie is coming out now when we have a political, and I'm not trying to be political, I'm really not, I'll be bipartisan about this, but it's just something that just clicked for me immediately as I was thinking about this film over the course of about a week, that in a way it's an interesting metaphor or maybe analogy for the necrotic hand of power lust of our political class. We have people in their 70s and their 80s that have been in office for decades. And what do you know? On a salary of $100,000 to $125,000 a year, happen to have personal net worths of 80, 90, $100 million. Really interesting considering these people are public servants. You take someone like, let's be fair here, we have Donald Trump over here and Nancy Pelosi over here. Two very high profile, well known politicians that have only gotten richer and richer and richer every day, week, month, and year that they have been in office. Meanwhile, their constituents, people like you and me, have we gotten richer? No, we haven't. Because these people, are using power to, again, the people who oversee and write the law that governs, say, the financial industry, for example. Isn't it interesting that those people who write those laws just happen to be able to do really well in the markets, almost better than Warren Buffett himself? That's all I'm saying. What does that have to do with weapons? Well, it's real easy. Aunt Gladys won't just admit that her time is up. She's had her life. It's time to go. Now, that necrotic hand of power lust is holding on, and she has no problem sacrificing 17 children to keep her ass, alive and going. If that isn't a perfect metaphor for what is going on in our country right now with, again, Nancy Pelosi, she just announced she's not running again. This will obviously be Trump's last term. These people who literally have tens of millions to hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars in the bank. It's like, go away, go away. You're clearly not making things better for any of us working stiffs. Why are you still here? And that's basically how I view Aunt Gladys and what she's doing in just her pure evil of draining these innocent young kids of their life force and then using various townspeople as pawns in that, having absolutely zero problem sacrificing innocent people so that she can draw a few extra breaths on this earth. Man, if it doesn't correlate perfectly with our political class in this country, I don't know what else does. And again, I'm trying really hard not to not to politicize things, not to be offensive or to be play to that, because I'm neither left nor right, just personally. But it's something that just really dawned on me. But back to the performances again. Amy Madigan, she deserves an Oscar nomination for this. She's really, really effing good. And again, it's a stacked cast. You have Julie Garner, who we know from Ozark. We have Josh Brolin, who plays Archer, the father who's searching for his son. Brolin is awesome in everything he's in. He's been working forever. Benedict Wong, who is the principal superintendent of the schools. You might know him as the associate of Doctor Strange from the Marvel films. Austin Abrams, who plays James, I'm not as familiar with him. He plays the drug addict. But then you have Alden Ehrenreich, who plays, Paul, the cop, who, man, that guy goes through it. Justin Long makes an appearance, and even June Diane Raphael. I've seen her in a few things on Netflix. So it's not a super popular A-list cast, except for maybe I guess Brolin, but a solid cast nonetheless. It is so well paced. It doesn't unfold quickly. It's very much it's like peeling an onion with this movie, and you get bit after bit after bit, and then there comes a point where kind of grabs it by the throat and just woof, pulls you through. Once and Gladys and her machinations are kind of discovered. What also is really good about this, I've been trying to. Of course, my computer has decided to die now. The young boy who is the only remaining child in Justine's class. This kid is one hell of an actor. He has to deal with the fact that his all of his colleagues, his fellow students, have disappeared. He has to go toe to toe with creepy, super powerful, evil Aunt Gladys, and he has to kind of keep it under his his hat. He can't tell anyone what's going on. And his entire home life has been just completely turned upside down by Aunt Gladys. He can't tell anybody anything. And to me, again, that's a great corollary to children who grow up in either neglectful or any type of abusive household. This young boy, who again, let me see if I can get the full cast here. Jesus Christ, help me out here. Kerry Christopher, he plays Alex. This young man really crushed it. And it's so believable. If you were a kid who grew up in like a broken home, like me and many others did, there's so much covering for addict parents, neglectful parents, absent parents. You do so much to sort of triage your life to sort of present to your friends on the playground in school, to your teachers, that everything is fine. And again, another great sort of, I think, interpretation for this film could be that not just older generations sacrificing the younger generations to themselves so that they can just continue to amass power and money and wealth like our political class has done. We're $38 trillion in debt. Nobody's doing a damn thing about it. We, our children, and our children's children are going to have to pay for that. No one cares. And Pelosi and Donald Trump are probably going to be dead, what, within inside of a decade? They don't care. They made their money. So it's pretty gross, which is, again, similar, and again, a great corollary to Amy Madigan's Aunt Gladys. She doesn't care. She's here to continue to live and to continue to draw breath. And again, like I said, if she has to sacrifice 17 innocent children and a handful of innocent adults to do it, she will. That is our absolutely narcissistic, sociopathic, malignantly sociopathic political class in a nutshell. I don't know how else you could interpret it there, but again, how he leads us through these different threads of characters to the discovery of Aunt Gladys, watching all of them deal with this unfolding mystery, sort of being in Alex's shoes as the child who is literally just, he's at the mercy of just this incredible evil and trying to just hold his shit together and trying to keep his face. Just it's really, really impressive. The special effects are very subtle. They feel like they could be mostly practical effects. There are a few demonstrations of Aunt Gladys's power when she is intimidating some other characters, and it's terrifying. I think Aunt Gladys putting fear into, say, the character of Alex has to be one of the most solid depictions of straight up child abuse, psychological child abuse that I've ever seen in a film. And so to sort of fold that into a witch story makes that witch story, that supernatural story, that much more interesting, but it grounds it in something that's totally believable. Say Aunt Gladys wasn't a witch, how she psychologically intimidates and breaks down and gets a control of Alex and his family is, whew, it feels really real. And again, Zach Crager just knocked it out of the park. So if you want a movie that's going to live in your head days, weeks, months after you watch it, Weapons is it. Again, we have been in kind of a golden age of horror going on 25 years now. I feel like it kind of started with Ringu, The Ring, the Japanese version back in '98, and it's just been flowing on now for almost 30 years. Not everything that comes out is great, but there's something about the horror genre that has allowed really talented, creative screenwriters to just weave these incredible stories that, again, horror can be anything. It can be Weapons, it can be The Nun, it could be Rosemary's Baby, it could be Alien, it could be Friday the 13th, it could be In a Violent Nature. It could be so many things, and that sort of versatility of horror is probably why it's able to stay so fresh, because it can be so many things. You look at the three films by Jordan Peele, and they're just very different, but they are all kind of under that dark fantasy horror umbrella, but they're all their own thing. And yeah, Weapons did not disappoint, man. I'm bummed that I did not get out to the theater the first week that it came out. I'm bummed that so many of these films really are not lasting in the theater beyond 2 months, like 4 to 8 weeks now. I don't understand how anybody's making money off of these films if you're not getting ticket sales, and I don't know how it works. So, but no, check out Weapons on HBO Max or rent it when you get a chance. Again, it is in the same league as Hereditary, The Shining, and The Exorcist, in my opinion. If you disagree with me, please let me know below. What did you think of Weapons? What did you think of how this story unfolded? I think it is absolutely masterful filmmaking, incredible writing, just 10 out of 10 all the way around from me. So, yeah, I might actually have to take a break from horror after this movie. It's just like, whew. And just as a writer myself, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, man, this guy he has really leveled up the game. You know, I have to level up my own writing. It's truly impressive. I'm jealous of this guy. Super talented. So I'm looking forward to more from Zach Crager. And I might go back and rewatch Barbarian because it's been, I think, a year or so. But his stuff, solid so far. We've got all these great sort of horror auteurs: Crager, Robert Eggers, Jordan Peele. She wouldn't be a horror auteur, but Emerald Fennell, who did Promising Young Woman and Saltburn. Just really interesting, unique auteur filmmakers in this time of streaming. I hope all of them make it. I hope that all of this is leading to maybe a 1990s style sort of resurgence of indie filmmaking. You know, we're in a really weird place in our industry where everything has gone to streaming, and I don't know how anybody's making money off of that. I mean, there's no residuals anymore, so if you're an actor, you're making way less money. Yeah, it's very interesting, but cool shit is being made. Really fun, interesting stuff that just keeps me excited for my own goals as a filmmaker. You know, I just had picture lock on a project of mine. Really excited about, and I think that's what needs to happen right now in this very sort of transitional phase. The people that are really about it are going to do it whether they're paid or not. You know, if you're about something, you just do it. And then maybe we build something new. Maybe there's some type of a new wave of films coming our way. Like, you know, you had the French New Wave, you had the new Australian wave, you had the wave of horror that started in the late '90s. So it's exciting. I think it's an exciting time. So support original, creative, just interesting cinema any chance you get. And let me know what you guys thought of Weapons, what you thought of the characters, how it unfolded in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Be safe.